It's too steep. I'm losing traction.
In Tasmania, bee truckers Ewan and Neil Stevens have reached the first stop on their vital 4-day mission. While the first 150 beehives are loaded smoothly, ahead lies a much steeper challenge. The trucks must climb a gruelling set of hills, made even tougher by days of winter rain. Ewan will have to push his vintage truck hard to make the climb. Behind, Neil has a more modern rig, but he's taking nothing for granted.
Very steep in here. It's got a lot of loose rocks and it's gone fairly muddy and underneath. If you get stuck halfway up around the corner, you're going to be very awkward to back down out of it, nearly impossible.
They've reached the steepest point of the climb. Both trucks will need to give everything to make it up the hill. While Ewan's almost clear, Neil's in trouble.
We've got in the mud.
The loose rocks and wet dirt have stopped Neil in his tracks. If he spins his wheels, he could dig into the dirt. Neil's stuck fast. It's down to Ewan's 40-year-old vintage truck to pull Neil up the hill.
Yeah, we've had a lot of heavy rain the last 6 to 8 weeks. And it's got a bit soft, so we're going to hook on and drag it up. Having a little bit of help does.
When he gets a bit of traction, it lets me go a bit, and it's like a big elastic band. We help each other up there, big brother, and we help each other out.
Despite her years, Old Faithful's got the job done. Ahead is the loading site. Nightfall and freezing conditions are just hours away. If the boys can't get moving quickly, they'll be loading in the pitch black. Today, the boys can expect to be stung up to 20 times. With the trucks loaded, the boys need to get moving if they're to make it home before dark.
It's a bit of a worry because I don't like being on these roads too late at night because they freeze on you. 99 corners in a mile and a half. It's all windy corners. There is no straight bits on it. It's quite steep in places. So you're down in the low gears all the time with your foot through the floor. It's a challenge.
The tight, winding roads are a constant threat. But worse still, Ewan has no idea what's coming the other way.
These are blind corners and you can't see around them, so you take it with caution and hope no one's cutting them. If they are cutting it, you head for the ditch and hope they miss you.
Finally, the mountains are behind them. But it's late into the night before the boys arrive home.
We'll get up in the morning and go again.
The Stevens must unload their full trucks on farmland. Heavy rain is the last thing they need. The ground is saturated. There's no way they can risk taking the trucks into the mire.
I am worried about getting across the paddock. It's been stuck out there many times.
A forklift and a ute will have to carry the bees the final few metres of their journey. They'll need to make 2 trips, and the signs aren't good.
It's a bit wet. Hopefully we don't get stuck, but we could. There's no bottom out here. Once you break the surface, you go straight through it. Just a big spew hole.
Sure enough, the ground's cutting up badly, and the bumpy ride's annoying the bees.
Stir them up a little bit, make them a bit crabby because of the vibration.
With 24 hives on board, Ewan tries to pick another route through the mud. He's stuck fast. Ewan's stranded with a full load of 24 hives. The forklift is critical to the whole operation. He must get it out. To escape, Ewan sent out an SOS to a local farmer. It's down to the tractor to pull him free. The front wheels are out, but the rear wheels jammed sideways. The whole forklift's tilting dangerously at an angle. With a top-heavy load, it won't take much to tip it over.
Unhook it, Josh. You have to go out there. Otherwise it'll just swing over and tip her over.
They need to get the angle of the pull just right, or risk losing the hives and thousands of bees.
Oh, does it go everywhere, smash them to pieces? Well, I would get hurt too.
At last, the vital run is done.
It always feels good when they're in their spot. The stress goes out.
They're heading deep into forest country to pick up another load of precious beehives. The dense wilderness is so remote, there's only one way in and out: by train. Ewan and Neil must load 14 tonnes worth of trucks onto 2 specially built rail carriages. The trick is, these carriages are exactly the same width as their trucks.
The main thing here is get your trucks on nice and straight, otherwise you'll clip the bridge with the trucks up further. Line them up and get them on there perfectly.
The slightest mistake could see the 2 trucks and the whole job come crashing down. With the trucks on board, it's time to take a unique railway ride.
You've just got to make sure they put it back in the right spot, otherwise you end up in the rocks.
If they haven't been laid exactly as before, it could spell trouble.
They're pretty close to the bank, ain't they? You wouldn't want to put your finger down, that's for sure. Wouldn't be nothing left.
After a nail-biting run, it's time once again to swap rail for road. It's a tight, twisting gauntlet of crumbling wet dirt. For Ewan and Neil's trucks, it's a brutal challenge.
It's too steep. I'm losing traction.
At last, the boys have made it to their hives. And the first signs aren't good.
We've lost about 30,000 bees. We can't get in here a real lot. We couldn't get queens back to them, so they died. we couldn't do nothing about it.
But fortunately, the majority of the bees have survived. Now it's time to bring all 260 hives home for the winter. The trucks are carrying 21 tonnes of hives. On dirt tracks, it's a dangerous combination.
The hives are just sliding because the track's so rough, they're moving on the floor of the truck.
There's an added hazard.
The moss in here makes the road very, very slippery.
The slick moss is like driving on black ice.
I'm sliding and skipping in the back end.
Ewan Stevens is fighting to stay in control of his 21-tonne rig on a slick, steep mountain trail. At last, the mountain is behind them.
It's always a nice feeling to be down here. My heart goes back to its normal heartbeat.
There's just one more drop-off remaining, but nothing on this run comes easy.
I'm going nowhere.
Within sight of the finish line, the boys are bogged. And Josh's reward? A chance to show his uncle how the job should be done. Finally, the last of the 260 hives are off the truck and home safe for the winter.